Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the high-tech playbook that modern brands are using to connect with you. It's a wild game of strategy, massive data, and even a little neuroscience, all designed to win a piece of your mind and shape your choices. So let's pull back the curtain and see how it's done.
You know, in our crazy modern attention economy, your money is only one part of the puzzle. Brands are now in this fierce, non-stop competition for something way more valuable, something that's a whole lot harder to get and even tougher to keep.
Yep, that's the real prize here. The ultimate goal for any brand today is your engagement. They want to build a powerful, lasting bond with you that goes so far beyond just a single purchase.
Okay, so what does this engagement thing actually mean for them? I promise, it's not just some corporate buzzword. It's a very specific psychological state they are actively trying to create in you.
Well, researchers define consumer engagement as this deep psychological connection that happens when you interact with a brand. And it's not just one thing, it's got multiple dimensions. It hits on how you think, how you feel, and, you guessed it, how you end up acting.
So brands basically see this whole process as a ladder. First, they want your cognitive engagement. That means just getting you to think about them, to learn who they are. Then they shoot for an emotional connection, building up feelings of trust, maybe even passion. And that final step, that's behavioral engagement. That's when you're not just a customer, you're an active participant, maybe even a full-blown advocate for the brand.
So, how in the world do they get you to start climbing that ladder? Well, the first major play in their book is all about harnessing the absolutely incredible power of big data.
We hear the term big data thrown around all the time, right? But what is it really? Think of it as this massive, messy, swirling ocean of information that gets generated every single second from your social media, your smartphone, your online searches, pretty much your entire digital life.
To really get a handle on the power of big data, we can break it down into 5 key parts, the 5 Vs. First, there's the sheer volume of it all. It's just staggering. Then there's the incredible velocity it's created at. It also comes in a huge variety of forms: text, photos, videos. Now, the big challenge for brands is ensuring its veracity, that it's accurate, so they can finally extract real, actionable value from it all.
And here's a killer example of that value in action. Netflix didn't just cross their fingers and hope you'd like House of Cards. No way. They analyzed viewing data from millions of users, what actors you liked, what genres you binged, even when you hit pause, to literally engineer a show they knew would be a hit.
Or how about Amazon's patent for something called anticipatory shipping? By crunching the numbers on your search history, what's sitting in your cart, and even how long your mouse hovers over an item, they can predict what you're about to buy and start moving that product to a warehouse near you before you've even clicked the button. Wild, right?
But all this power has a really serious dark side. Data scientist Cathy O'Neill calls these things weapons of math destruction. They're algorithms with hidden biases that can operate on a massive scale. And the real danger is they can lead to actual real-world discrimination, all while being completely hidden inside a mathematical black box.
Now, the playbook doesn't just stop at what you do on your screen. Oh no, the next chapter expands the entire playing field out into the physical world that's all around us.
We're talking about the Internet of Things, or IoT. It's this idea of connecting everyday objects, your fridge, your car, your smart speaker, to the internet, creating this constant, seamless river of data about how we actually live our lives.
So IoT weaves this gigantic web of connectivity. It connects people to each other and even to themselves through wearables like a Fitbit. It connects smart objects to each other. And it connects us to our physical environment, using our location data to power everything from Google Maps to those ads that kind of seem to follow you around town. A fantastic real-world example of this is what Village Hotels did by putting Amazon Echo devices in every single room. Guests can order room service or ask for a late checkout with just their voice. It's a win-win, right? The guest gets amazing service, and the hotel gets this incredibly valuable stream of data about what their customers want and when.
And this right here brings us to the central, thorny issue with the IoT. As all these smart devices start to fill up our homes, they raise these incredibly complex questions. Who actually owns all of our personal data? Who's controlling it? And how secure is it really?
All right, now we get to the most advanced and, let's be honest, probably the most controversial play in the entire modern brand playbook: neuromarketing.
This is literally what it sounds like. Brands are now using neuroscientific tools, like fMRI brain scans, to measure our unconscious biological reactions to their products, their logos, their ads. They're trying to bypass what we say we think and get straight to what our brains actually do.
A legendary study on Coke versus Pepsi revealed something absolutely mind-blowing. In a blind taste test, people's brains showed a tiny preference for the taste of Pepsi, but when they were told they were drinking Coke, their brains lit up in the areas tied to emotion and memory, and suddenly they overwhelmingly said they preferred Coke.
Just let that sink in for a second. The very idea of Coca-Cola, the brand itself, was so powerful that it literally changed the brain's response and completely overrode the physical sensation of taste. It was never really about the soda, it was always about the brand.
So this brings us to the fundamental challenge that every brand is facing today. With all of these incredibly powerful tools at their disposal, they have to navigate a really critical strategic dilemma.
They have to constantly balance the temptation to use all this data for short-term revenue, pushing a targeted promotion to make a quick sale, against the much, much harder long-term work of using that same data to build trust, to build brand equity, and to create a genuinely positive relationship with you.
So to walk this tightrope, experts are suggesting a whole new set of rules for the playbook. Brands have to make every single message do double duty. It has to drive sales and build the brand at the same time. They need to avoid those creepy, invasive offers, use their analytics to prove the value of long-term investments, and maybe most importantly, make sure their data nerds and their brand storytellers are always working as a team. And all of this leaves us with one final, really crucial question. As brands get smarter and more sophisticated at predicting and influencing our every move with this high-tech playbook, we have to stop and ask ourselves, in a world full of smart brands, how much of our choice is really our own?